Back here for night number 2 of the Texas Teenage Baseball Association 6U T-Ball Tournament from the Jace Jefferson Baseball Complex in Belton. Tony Adams with you as we bring you another 3 games. The first being the winner's bracket game between the Bosqueville Rangers and the Belton Mudcats. We'll have a couple of games later on, one between West and Normandy. And then following that game, we'll have a Battle of Belton as the Belton Brewers will take on the Belton Guardians in the loser's bracket. The second set of games, the second and third games tonight are both elimination games. Winner of this game will move on to play tomorrow night. The loser would go on to play later this evening. So Bosqueville is the visiting team. We just got the lineup, so we're going to wing it here. We're on the clock. Game time temperature 103 degrees. Winds blowing from the south. That would translate to our back to center field. About 15 miles an hour is the maximum gust right now. But we'll be underway shortly. We'll take a quick pause. We'll get the scorebook in order. And we'll be back for the first tee between Bosqueville and the Belton Mudcats here on Facebook Live. Bosqueville will step to the plate first as Carter Bates will get ready to lead off. He'll be followed by Bryce Craig and Brooks Gonzalez. Doc Gilbert signals play ball. We get ready to get underway in this second round game. Here's a pop fly. And this is going to go drop in front of the hill for a base hit. Now going all the way to second is Bates. He'll motor all the way to third. The throw comes in. It's a little bit late. Carter doesn't waste no time. He gets to the plate. That's an inside the park home run. Speedy Carter Bates. It's 1-0 Bosqueville. And that brings up Bryce Craig. Bosqueville getting on the board. So Bryce will step up. Here's a grounder to shortstop. This will leak into left field for a base hit. Bryce will get the go sign. He'll speed around first. He'll head towards second. Throw is just now getting in. Getting the windmill over at third. But the shortstop runs the ball in and staying at third. It's a triple for Bryce Craig. And Bosqueville making noise here in the first inning. And that'll bring up Brooks Gonzalez. First of 5 games here on the complex here at 5:30. There's a swing and a foul. There's one strike. Riggs Railsback is on deck. And there's a shot in the left field. That's a base hit. Bryce will score. Brooks will pick up the RBI. He'll head towards second. And the throw kicks off the cleat of Brooks, and it goes into right field. Brooks will stop at third. So it's an RBI double for Brooks Gonzalez. He takes third on the throw. Bosqueville's doubled their lead. They're up now 2-0. And that'll bring up third baseman Riggs Railsback. There's a swing and a foul. And there's one strike to Riggs. Lane Jorgensen is on deck. Just underway from Field 1, second night of the Texas Teenage Baseball Association 6U State Tournament from the Jace Jefferson Baseball Complex in Belton. 2-0. Bosqueville leading in the first inning. Here's a shot up the middle. That's a base hit. Brooks will score. And this gets past the center fielder. Riggs is going to run for days. Riggs goes around second. The throw gets to the cutoff man. He's going to go. He's going. Gone. He scores. Riggs rails back with the inside the park 2-run homer. It's now 4-0. Brings up Lane Jorgensen. Lane is ready to rock and roll out of that right-handed batter's box. He gets the sign from Doc Gilbert. Here's a pop-up, and this is going to drop in for an infield single. So Lane will stop at first, and that'll bring up second baseman Judah Koskela. If you're just joining us, we're in the opening game of a 3-game night here at field number 1. We'll have Weston Ormond after this, and then a battle of Belton between the Guardians and the Brewers at 8:30. Here's a throw to first, not in time, as both runners will advance up the base. Here's the throw to third. It gets knocked down by the third baseman for the Mudcats. That's Graham Williams. Now runners at second and third, still nobody out, and that'll bring up right fielder Rick Fabianchi. Rick lines it up to the left. Short grounder to third. Here's a throw to first, and that's not going to be in time. And now both runners are set back to second and third. A little bit of confusion on the play, but the bases are now loaded full of Bosqueville Rangers. That'll bring up left fielder Cullen Anderson. Bosqueville with the bases loaded, trying to take aim at a 7-run max first inning, getting off to a solid start. Cullen lines it up. Here's a shot into right center field. That's a base hit. And this is going to roll to the fence. Lane scores. Judah round third. Judah scores. Rick is around first. That's third. And he scores. Bases clearing double for Cullen Anderson. And the 7-run max is reached. So a 3-run double by Cullen Anderson will put Bosqueville on top 7-0 as we go to the bottom of the first inning in this winner's bracket game at the Texas Teenage Baseball Association 6U Tournament from Belton. Rhett will lead off the bottom of the first inning for the Belton Mudcats. Here's a fly ball. Gets under the glove of the shortstop. It'll roll out to center field. That'll be a base hit. Rhett will lead off the bottom of the first inning for the Mudcats with a single, and that'll bring up the left fielder, Baylor Fairbanks. This portion of Texas Teenage Baseball's Association of the 6U T-Ball Tournament is brought to you by Texas Terrors Showcase Team and 13U Squad. Home of Nobody Cares. Work harder. Here's a fly ball, and this is going to drop at second base. They're not going to be able to get the runner at second. Now Rhett will head for third, and he will stay put. So runners at the corners as Baylor gets on. And that'll bring up Hudson Hatfield. Mudcats trying to answer a 7-run first inning by Bosqueville. So Hudson will get some assistance from Doc Gilbert in the batter's box, being aligned, getting the tee set. There's a grounder to second. That'll score a run. And the throw to first is not in time. Baylor will take off for third, and he'll make it in. So it's an RBI infield single, and Hudson will now take second on the throw. And the Mudcats are on the board. It's now 7-1. Baylor at third, Hudson at second, and that'll bring up second baseman Graham Williams. I'd like to say hi to Graham's grandma in central Pennsylvania. Watching from the Keystone State tonight, there's a shot into left field. That's a base hit. Baylor will score. Hudson rounds third. He will score. Doing it for his grandma. It's a 2-run single for Graham Williams. It's now 7-3. The Mudcats now trail by 4. And that'll bring up the right fielder, Easton Davis. As you can hear from the crowds cheering behind us, we've got plenty of action on the complex. 5 games going on right now, 15 total for the evening. Easton will fly it to third. He gets over the third baseman's head, stopping at second. Will be Graham, so Easton picks up an infield single. And that'll bring up second baseman Christian Saldana. Christian will take aim at the tee in the right-handed batter's box. Here's a shot into left center field. That's going to be a base hit, and it gets over the center fielder's head. Graham's going to score easily from third. Rounding second, heading for third is Easton. Gotta go. Christian is catching up. Easton will score. It's a 3-run inside the park homer for Christian Saldana. It's now 7-6. And that'll bring up center fielder Ty Meyer. Ty will step in the right-handed, make that the left-handed batter's box. Winner of tonight's game will move on. Play the Salado Eagles at 5:30 tomorrow. That'll be on field number 2 here at the Jace Jefferson Baseball Complex. Ty fouls it off. Owen Guajardo is on deck. Now, conversation between one of the Mudcats coaches and home plate umpire Doc Gilbert. There's a shot to short. Knocking it down is the shortstop, Bryce Craig. And Ty is on with a single. That'll bring up Owen Wahardo. CF Building Materials, your commercial and residential specialist. Located in Belton and Waco. Call 254-939-9385 for more information. CF Supply. Build your next project with us. Just joining us, we're in the bottom of the first inning. 13 runs across between the two teams. Bosqueville leads 7-6. Bosqueville getting a 7-run max in the first. Here's a grounder to short. Craig picks it up. He'll tag first, and that'll be a fielder's choice. 6 unassisted on the putout. 1 down, and that'll bring up the shortstop. That's Sam Davis. Sam's lining up in the left-handed batter's box, lining up for a pull. There's a grounder that hits off the shoulder of the pitcher. Owen will reach base easily. Owen heading towards third. Sam is now in a rundown, but there's nobody at the plate. Is he going to beat it? Yes, he will. And the Mudcats pick up the 7-run max. So Twins 7-run innings for the Mudcats and the Rangers. We go to the top of the second inning from the Texas Teenage Baseball Association 6U T-Ball Tournament. In Belton, it is Bosqueville 7 and the Belton Mudcats 7. Card My Yard, Temple and Salato's premier yard card sign greeting rental company. Proudly celebrating Belton, Temple, Salato, Gerald, and surrounding areas. We specialize in making your big day even bigger. Book now at cardmyyard.com for your next birthday, anniversary, retirement, baby announcement, graduation, or special event. Dr. Larissa Cali is a board-certified orthodontist via the American Board of Orthodontists. For your free consultation, visit their Facebook page, West Temple Orthodontics, their website, westtempleorthodontics.com, or call them up 254-899-2500. West Temple Orthodontics, we go the extra smile. Top of the second inning, all knotted up at 7. Bosqueville coming to bat. Beckett Corley will lead off for the Rangers. He'll be followed by Carter Bates and Bryce Craig. So Beckett swings and misses. Strike 1. So the coaches asking for an adjustment on the tee. Conversation between the third base umpire, the third base coach, rather, and home plate umpire, Doc Gilbert. Just getting some clarification on where he needs the tee set to. Now the coaches are happy with the positioning. There's a swing and a foul. Now 2 strikes. Now check that. That was the 3rd strike. 1 down and back to the top of the lineup for Bosqueville. It's Carter Bates inside the park homer to start the ball game. Mudcats outfield playing straight away, regular depth. Playing some tricky ground here at Heritage. Some odd bounces every now and then. There's a foul, and that's strike one. Bryce Craig is on deck. Above It All Tree Care has a certified arborist and Texas Wilt certified arborist on staff, providing tree services for Temple, Belton, Salado, and surrounding Central Texas areas. As that ball gets into left center field for a base hit. And that throw goes to third, so Carter will stop at second. He'll get a double off the base hit, giving the Rangers first runner of the inning with one out. That'll bring up Bryce Craig. For all of your tree care needs, call Above It All Tree Care at 254-743-9123. Visit their Facebook page or their website, aboveitalltreecare.com. Bryce had a triple and scored back in the first inning. Bryce will line up. Heading towards the right side now. Will readjust his stance, hitting towards the left side. Now we got a little bit of confusion. As now the Mudcats will adjust defensively. Here's a pop-up. This is going to one-hop the third baseman, and nobody's at third. So Bryce will go to second. That'll be a fielder's choice as Craig takes second. Runners now at second and third with one out for Bosqueville here in the second. And that'll bring up first baseman Brooks Gonzalez. Brooks had a double on a run, batted in, also scored in the first inning. Here's a pop-up towards third, and nobody's covering the plate as Brooks will take second. So that'll bring home a run, and Bosqueville retakes the lead. It's now 8-7. Bryce heads to third. Brooks stops at second, and that'll bring up Riggs Railsback. Riggs had it inside the park 2-run homer in the first inning. Riggs adjusts his stance. Now here's a pop-up, and heading toward the plate. It's not in time. So Riggs will reach second on the fielder's choice. Bryce scores. Brooks stops at third. It's now 9-7, Bosqueville. And that'll bring up Lane Jorgensen. He singled and scored back in the first. Here's a fly ball to short. A one hops the shortstop. One run is in. Riggs will stop at third. Heading to second. Now confused is the third baseman. He'll let the runner head to his second. Lane picks up an RBI. He'll move to second on the play. It's now 10-7. Runners at second and third for the Rangers, and that'll bring up Judah Koskela. Judah scored a run back in the first. Here's a grounder to third, and it goes between the wickets. The shortstop's there to back it up, but Riggs scores. Lane rounds third. He heads for home. Judah will drive home too. It's now 12-7. Bosqueville in the lead. Striking distance of another 7-run max inning. And that'll bring up Rick Fabianchi. Rick singled and scored back in the first. Fabianchi, the 8th batter of the inning for Bosqueville. Lines it up. Grounder to third. Rhett will throw it across the diamond. He didn't get enough underneath it. Judah will head for the plate. He will score. Rick will stop at second. It's now 13-7 Bosqueville. And with a runner at second, they're within shouting distance once again of a 7-run max. That brings up Colin Anderson. Cullen had a bases-clearing double back in the first inning, which secured the 7-run max for the Rangers. Up here with another chance to seal the inning. There's a grounder to shortstop. Sam Davis will hold. Now he'll take a run at third. And now the runner is hung up, but he's not going to be hung up. Rick gets loose, he scores, and they get the 7-run max once again. Bosqueville with a pair of 7-run innings now takes the lead. It's 14-7. Rangers as the Mudcats get ready to come up in the bottom of the second inning. CF Supply Building Materials, your commercial and residential specialist, located in Belton and Waco. Call 254-939-9385 for more information. CF Supply. Build your next project with us. Bottom of the second inning in this winner's bracket game between Bosqueville and the Belton Mudcats. The Rangers lead 14-7 on a pair of 7-run max innings. Remy will lead off. There's a grounder to shortstop. And no throw. Remy gets down the line well. And that will land the Mudcats their leadoff batter on first. That brings up the top of the lineup. As Rhett Christian will head to the plate. Rhett singled and scored back in the first inning. Rhett aiming the ball towards the right. Here's a pop-up, and it goes off the shortstop's glove. Remy will stop at second. So runners at first and second, and that'll bring up left fielder Baylor Fairbanks. Baylor singled and scored back in the first inning. I'd like to say hi to Baylor's family. The Mariners are out of the state tournament, 10U style. That would be 8U, rather. So Baylor will get ready to step in as they write the lineup changes down. Following this game at 6:30, or right around 6:30, we will have West Reynolds and the Normandy team playing at 6:30. Make that 7. Make that 7 o'clock. Here's a shot that's up the middle. That's a base hit for Baylor. Now trying to run down Rhett. He will make it to third base. Emmett scores. Emmett was running for Remy. And he gets the run. It's now 14-8. Mudcats trail by 6. Rhett's at third. And Baylor is at second. Hudson Hatfield is the batter. Had an RBI single back in the first. There's a short fly ball that's going to leak out into center field. Rhett scores. Baylor is looking at the ball, but he'll end up scoring. 2-run single for Hudson Hatfield. It's now 14-10 as both teams are now in double figures. Brings up Graham Williams. Graham picked up a 2-run single in the first inning. Here's a grounder to third. It ends up under the glove of both the third baseman and the shortstop and into left field. So Graham stops at first. Hudson at second. Still nobody down, and that'll bring up Easton Davis. Easton singled and scored back in the first inning. Here's a shot to the third baseman. Is he going to recover? He will recover, so it's a fielder's choice. And Riggs Railsback makes the tag of Hudson Hatfield at third base. So one down. Graham Williams ends up at second. Easton Davis at first. And that'll bring up Kristen Saldana. Christian out of 3-run inside the park homer. This drops in front of the second baseman, and all runners will be held up. Well, Graham was sent, and Graham does score. It's now 14-11. Christian at first, picks up another run batted in. Easton at second. And that'll bring up Ty Meyer. Ty singled and was forced out at second in the first inning. Now we'll have a courtesy runner as Wiley will come out to run for Easton. That's Wiley Netherlands. So they report in their substitutions. Doc marks it in the book as he'll report it to official scorekeeper Kylie Rodriguez, former Belton Lady Tiger softball player. So Ty will get ready to step in the left-handed batter's box. Once again, West and Normandy coming up at 7 o'clock. And the Belton Brewers and Belton Guardians coming up at 8:30. Both of those games, losers bracket games, elimination games, if you will. There's a ball that's knocked down by Riggs. And trying to hit the brakes, and Wiley couldn't hit the brakes, ended up being tagged out. And there's two gone. Fielder's choice will land Ty Meyer at first base. Christian at second. And Wiley got tagged out by Riggs Railsback at third. 2 away. And that'll bring up Owen Guajardo. Owen reached on a fielder's choice and scored in the first inning. Mudcats trail by 3, 14-11. First time that either side has retired 2 batters in an inning. Here's a grounder to Craig at short, and they get the force at second, and that ends the inning. So Craig tags second, and for the first time tonight, one of the teams doesn't go for the 7-run max as the Belton Mudcats will pick up 4 runs in the inning. We go to the top of the third inning from the Jace Jefferson Baseball Complex at Heritage Park in Belton. It is now the Bosqueville Rangers 14, the Belton Mudcats 11. Dr. Larissa Cali is a board-certified orthodontist via the American Board of Orthodontics. For your free consultation, visit their Facebook page, West Temple Orthodontics, their website, westtempleorthodontics.com, or call them up, 254-899-2500. West Temple Orthodontics, we go the extra mile. This happening of the Texas Teenage Baseball Association 6U T-Ball State Tournament is brought to you by Texas Terror's Showcase Team and 13U Squad, home of Nobody Cares, Work Harder. There's a chopper. There's a throw to first. Not in time as Josh will come in and reach base. Back to the top of the lineup, it's Carter Bates. He's 2 for 2, has a run batted in. There's a foul. One strike. Bryce Craig is on deck. Carter lines up. And another swing and smack on the tee. 2 strikes. Nobody down here in the top of the third inning. Rangers looking to extend their lead. They lead 14-11. There's a pop-up. This is going to hit at second. The second baseman makes the tag. Graham Williams making the play, and there's one down. So fielder's choice will land Bates at first. Brings up Bryce Craig. Craig with a triple and a fielder's choice has scored twice. Doc drawing the line of demarcation where the batters are not allowed to step. There's a shot into left field. That'll be a base hit. Carter will head for third. And now taking a detour as the shortstop, he heads towards second. That'll be an RBI double for Bryce Craig. Bosqueville on the board again. It's now 15-11. That'll bring up Brooks Gonzalez. Brooks with 2 hits, 2 runs scored, 2 runs batted in. Riggs Reels back is on deck. There's a shot to short. And this is going to one-hop the shortstop. Bryce will stay at third. Heading for second is Brooks. Now runners at second and third with 1 out. And that'll bring up Riggs Rails back. Riggs had a 2-run inside the park homer back in the first. Had a fielder's choice and scored in the second. Riggs lines it up. There's a shot to short center field, cut off by the second baseman. Bryce scores. Brooks will get the go sign. He will score. And stopping at first after a 2-run single. Riggs rails back. Another 2 on the board for the Rangers. It's now 17-11. That brings up Lane Jorgensen. Lane, 2 hits and 2 runs scored. Also has a run batted in. Here's a pop-up that's going to go in front of the pitcher. There's a throw, not in time. Heading for third is Riggs. And, well, in decision here, the runner will take off. For home, Riggs scores. Lane stops at second. It's now 18-11. Brings up Judah Koskela. Judah has scored twice. He's reached base on a pair of hits. Once again, don't forget to join us at 7 o'clock. We'll bring you an elimination game between West Reynolds and Norman G. Here's a grounder to second base. Williams picks it up, and he hesitated. Lane heads toward the plate. He will score. So Judah picks up an RBI single. It's now 19-11, Bosqueville. That brings up Rick Fabianchi. Rick reached on an error and scored back in the second. So we're going to have some defensive realignment. Rick, the 8th batter of the inning. Now time is called as coach is still on the field. Rick's like, no, I'm ready to play some ball here. Now the coaches are all off the field. Players are on it. Rick lines it up. Aiming towards the left side. And there's a grounder to third. Here's the throw to first. And not enough behind it. Judah will head towards third. And he's going to be stopped at third. Rick stops at second. And the 9th batter of the inning is Cullen Anderson. Cullen had a 3-run double, which gave Bosqueville their 7-run max in the first inning. He has a chance to end this inning with a hit. There's a foul. And there's 1 strike. Josh Mackey is on deck. He came in. Here's a fly ball, and this is going to go to second base. A run will score, and that's 7 runs. So Cullen picks up an RBI single, and it ends the inning once again as Bosqueville hangs another 7 up on the board. Go to the bottom of the 3rd inning. Bosqueville leads the Belton Mudcats 21-11. Card My Yard. Temple and Salato's premier yard sign greeting rental company. Prominently celebrating Belton, Temple, Salato, Jarrell, and the surrounding areas. We specialize in making your big day even bigger. Book now at cardmyyard.com for your next birthday, anniversary, retirement, baby announcement, graduation, or special event. Above It All Tree Care as a certified arborist and Texas Wilt Oak certified arborist on staff, providing tree services for Temple, Belton, Salato, and surrounding Central Texas areas. For your tree care needs, call them up. That's Above It All Tree Care, 254-743-9123. Visit their Facebook page or their website, aboveitalltreecare.com. Sam Davis will lead off the bottom of the third inning for the Mudcats. They trailed by 10, 21-11. He'll be followed by Remy and Rhett. So Sam lines it up. Here's a shot up the middle. Nearly snagged by the shortstop. A 3-bounce throw is not in time. So Sam will reach base. And that'll bring up catcher Remy Sarich. This is Remy's first at bat. Emmett batted for him. Well, now he actually was the courtesy runner for him in the second. There's a grounder to third. And no throw. Second time in the ball game. Remy has reached base. Back to the top of the lineups for the Mudcats. It's Rhett Christian. Rhett, 1 for 2 officially. He has scored twice. Baylor Fairbanks is on deck. Here's a grounder up the middle. The shortstop, Craig, will make the play at second base. So Sam advances to home. He'll score. It's now 21-12. Rhett stops at first base. Brings up Baylor Fairbanks. Baylor 2 for 2. He batted on a run in the second inning. Baylor will step in the left-handed batter's box. Pop up to short. Craig will knock it down, and Baylor makes it to first. Runners at first and second. With one down, I'll bring up Hudson Hatfield. Hudson with 2 hits, 2 runs batted in, and a run scored. Hey, please don't shake that, shaking the camera. That's okay. So Hudson steps in. Here's a grounder to second. It's knocked down by Judah. And the runner is forced out at second. Interesting. And there's now 2 outs. Brings up Graham Williams. Graham 2 for 2. That ball is knocked down. And all runners will stay put. Scores 21-13. Rangers leading the Mudcats. Easton Davis steps to the plate. 1 for 1. Singleton scored back in the first. Easton gets the ball placed. He will aim. Looks like he's aiming towards center field. And it's pulled towards the left side. Craig knocks the ball down, and he'll come up, but not before Hudson Hatfield sneaks in the back door and scores. It's now 21-14. Brings up Christian Saldana. Christian with 4 runs batted in. 2 for 2. Once again, we'll have West and Normandy. After this, roughly 7 o'clock, then we'll have the Belton Brewers and Belton Guardians. Both of those elimination games tonight. Here's a fly ball. This is going to get into right center field for a base hit. Graham will round third. He'll head for home. He'll score. Easton. He rounds third. He heads for home. Getting the ghost side. Christian Saldana. Another 3-run homer. That's 7 runs batted in. It's now 21-17. Mudcats are within 4. And that'll bring up Ty Meyer. Ty 1 for 2. Here's a fly ball that goes into left field. That's a base hit. So Ty will now head towards second. They try to get the ball in from the outfield. And now the ball is thrown around. And that ball escapes the catcher, but being told to stay put is Ty Meyer. And that brings up Owen Wahardo. Owen 0 for 2 officially. He reached on a fielder's choice in both of his at-bats. He scored back in the first inning. He scored the 7th run. Owen drills it toward the pitcher. There's a throw to first, not in time. Owen scores. And the Mudcats get the 7-run max. So the Mudcats send 10 batters to the plate. They pick up 7 runs. We go to the top of the 4th inning. It's now Bosqueville 21 and the Belton Mudcats 18. Dr. Larissa Cali is a board-certified orthodontist via the American Board of Orthodontists. For your free consultation, visit their Facebook page, West Temple Orthodontics, their website, westtempleorthodontics.com, or call them up, 254-899-2500. West Temple Orthodontics, we go the extra mile. CF Supply Building Materials, your commercial and residential specialist, located in Belton and Waco, 254-939-9385. For more information, CF Supply. Build your next project with us. Tony Adams back with you. First of 3 games tonight on Facebook Live. Glad to see everybody joining us. you got some friends or family that want to look into the game, have them follow my profile, and they'll get the live notification. Not able to accept friend requests right now. Hit that magical Facebook 5,000 mark. So that's the reason I haven't been able to accept a lot of friend requests, but the follow button does just as good. You're able to follow right along and watch in the chat. So now we get ready to start the top of the fourth inning. Bosqueville once again has scored all sevens across the board, lucky sevens. First, second, and third inning, they lead 21-18. Josh Mackey is the batter. Here's a grounder to third, and it's knocked down by Red Christian. And stopping at first is Josh. Back to the top of the lineup, it's Carter Bates. Bates has reached base 3 times, has an inside the park homer. Led off the game with that, inside the park homer. We'll keep an eye on Mackey at first. There's a foul. Strike one to Carter. Bryce Craig is on deck. Here's a fly ball, and it's off the pitcher's glove. Throw to first. Not in time, as barely beating it out is Carter Bates. Now runners at first and second. Nobody down in the fourth for Bosqueville, and that will bring up Bryce Craig. Bryce 2 for 3 officially. Has a triple, a double, and a run batted in. Doc sets the ball on the tee. Bryce lines it up. There's a swing and a miss. Adding to a little bit of the pleasant Texas breeze blowing through the yard right now. Here's a shot to right field. That's going to drop fair down the right field line. Josh will round third. He'll score. Carter, he's motoring around third. He'll score. Bryce heading towards third. And he is going to be held up. 2-run triple for Bryce Craig. It's now 23-18 Bosqueville. That brings up Brooks Gonzalez. Brooks 3 for 3. 2 runs scored. Make that 3 runs scored. 2 runs batted in. Here's a shot to left field. That will get down for a base hit. Bryce scores. Hard turnaround first for Brooks. And he'll settle for the RBI single. Bosqueville putting up another run. It's now 24-18. Brings up Riggs Railsback. Riggs had a 2-run inside the park homer in the first. Knocked in 2 runs in the third, has 4 for the ballgame, has scored 3 runs. There's a foul. 1 strike to Riggs. Lane Jorgensen is on deck. Reminder, the winner of this game will play at 5:30 tomorrow against Salado in the winner's bracket. Loser has to come back to play tonight. Here's a ball that goes foul. Looks like it just fell short of the chalked arc. And there's now 2 strikes. Not able to tell it right now, but there is an arc in front of the plate. Here's a shot to shortstop, ends up skipping out into center field. Brooks gets loose now. He's heading towards third. Brooks is going to be directed to go home. He's looking, and he will slide into the plate. So Riggs picks up another run, batted in. It's 25-18 Bosqueville. And that'll bring up Lane Jorgensen. Lane with 3 runs batted in, 2 runs scored. Flip-flop that. He's actually scored 3 times and drove in 2 runs. Here's a grounder to third. Knocked down by Christian, and he'll run the runner at second back to the bag. So that'll bring up Judah Koskela. Judah has scored 3 times, has driven in a run. There's a ball that falls in front of the hill. No throw. So that will load up the bases for Rick Fabianchi. He has scored 3 times. And the 7-run max run is at first base in the person of Judah Koskela. We're also nearing that point in the game where run rule can become a factor as well. There's a grounder to third. Christian heads toward the plate, but ends up being a fielder's choice as Riggs ends up beating the fielder home. Lane moves to third, Judah to second, Rick to first. It's now 26-18, and that'll bring up Cullen Anderson. Here's a fly ball to second. And making the option to go to second was the second baseman. 2 runs scored. And Bosqueville, once again, picks up the 7-run max. So looking like a football box score, 7 in the first, 7 in the second, 7 in the third, 7 in the fourth. Bosqueville leads the Belton Mudcats 28-18 after 3.5. Winner of this ball game will take on the Salado Eagles at 5:30 tomorrow in Field 2. Loser ends up having to play right back away against the Belton Pirates at 7 o'clock. We'll be bringing you the Norman G. West game at 7 o'clock, and then that'll be followed by the Belton Brewers, Belton Guardians at 8:30. Here's a grounder to Craig at short. There's a throw that ends up 2-hopping the bag. And Sam Davis leads the bottom of the fourth off with a hit. That'll bring up Remy Saric. Remy, 2 for 2. Once again, we'll have, that is the West Storage and Norman G. English game. That'll be at 7 o'clock. So Remy hits the ball, and it's rolls dead on the arc. So that'll be an infield single for Remy. Back to the top of the lineup for the Mudcats. It's Rhett Christian. Rhett with 2 runs in. The Mudcats must score 4 to push this into a 5th inning. There's a shot that's knocked down. Sam will score. Rhett's at third. Now Rhett stays at second. RBI single for Rhett Christian. Now 28-19. Mudcats need just 2 to guarantee a 5th inning. Baylor grounds it to second base, and beating the throw to the bag is Rhett. So Baylor stops at first. Remy scores. It's now 28-20. That brings up Hudson Hatfield. Hudson has scored twice and driven in 2 runs. Here's a fly ball to right center field. It gets into the outfield for a base hit. Rhett will score. Baylor will stop at third. Ends up being a single for Hatfield. He takes second on the throw. It's now 28-21. So it does guarantee a top of a 5th inning. And that'll bring up Graham Williams. Graham, 2 runs batted in, 3 runs scored. There's a grounder to third. And taking it out, but no force was on, so Baylor scores. Hudson goes back to second. Graham heads to first. A run does score. It's now 28-22. Heads up base running by the Mudcats. They've scored 4 in this inning, and that'll bring up Easton Davis. Easton 2 for 3. Easton steps in. He looks to the right side. Second baseman adjusting. Here's a fly ball to second. And no throw as Hudson will round third and head for the plate. So another RBI single for the Mudcats. It's now 28-23. Brings up Christian Saldana. Christian with 7 runs batted in this game. He's got 2 inside the park homers. Outfield shifting. Christian lines it up. Pop up. And it goes behind the pitcher. Graham will stay at third. Easton at second. Christian reaches first. And that'll bring up Ty Meyer. Ty 2 for 3. Here's a grounder to third, and it's going to roll into left field for a base hit. Graham scores. Easton will round third, head for home, and the Mudcats stay alive with a 7-run max. So now we're at the end of 4 innings of play. It is now Bosqueville 28 and the Belton Mudcats 25. Welcome in to those who are just joining us on the Belton Youth Baseball Association Facebook page, as well as the Texas Teenage Baseball Association Facebook page. Tony Adams with you from the Jace Jefferson Baseball Complex in Belton. 28-25, the Bosqueville Rangers lead the Mudcats of Belton as the Rangers bat here in the top of the 5th inning. The Rangers need just 5 runs to end the game by run rule fashion. So the Mudcats will take the field here in the top of the inning. Josh Mackey will lead off for the Rangers. Josh 1 for 2. This afternoon's games brought to you by Card My Yard, Temple Belton, that Temple and Salado, West Temple Orthodontics, Texas Teenage, that Texas Terrors showcase team and 13U squad, CF Supply Building Materials, and Above It All Tree Care. Thank you for those 5 great groups for their sponsorship this week, as they've been throughout the season, not only in Belton Youth Baseball, but also in Belton and Lake Belton athletics as well. Glad to have them as a partner. So Mackey will swing and miss to start the 5th inning. Carter Bates, Bryce Craig to follow. Here's a grounder to short. There's a throw across. Plenty of time. Recovery is not going to be made in time. The throw is a little bit offline. So Mackey will take first base. Back to the top of the lineup. It's Carter Bates. Bates has scored 4 times. And one of those includes an inside the park homer. Right now, he is a triple short of the cycle. There's a ball that scoops under the glove of the shortstop. And Carter takes first base. Josh at second. Nobody down. That'll bring up Bryce Craig. Bryce with 3 runs batted in, including a pair of triples and a double. Now time is called as the Mudcats will take a official scorebook out to home plate umpire Doc Gilbert. Once again, reminder after this game, it will be the matchup between Wes Runnels and Norman G. English at 7 o'clock. So the Mudcats challenging the order of batting, and they determine, official scorekeeper said, that they are on track. So Craig will step up. Runners at first and second. Here's a grounder. And losing it in his spikes was Wajardo. And now they're going to send Josh. He'll score. Now he gets confused. He hears Coach telling Carter to stop. And ended up going back to second. So now the bases are loaded. And that'll bring up Brooks Gonzalez. Brooks with 4 runs scored. 2 runs batted in. Fly ball. This is going to get into left field for a base hit. And this is going to roll all the way to the fence. Josh scores. Carter, he'll score. Bryce Craig is heading for the plate. He'll score. Are they going to send him? Yes, they are. And the throw is offline. The play at the plate. Not in time. And inside the park grand slam for Brooks Gonzalez. And it's now 32-25. Bosqueville on the verge of clinching this second round game. Brooks with 6 runs batted in. And that'll bring up Riggs Railsback. Riggs with 5 runs batted in. He's a triple short of the cycle. There's a shot into center field. That will get down for base hit. And he's running all the way. The center fielder decides he wants to try to beat him up to the bag. And Riggs beats it. So the winning run, game-clinching run, is now at second base, and that'll bring up Lane Jorgensen. Lane, 2 runs batted in, 4 runs scored. Bosqueville right on the lip of the cup right now, leading by 7. They only need 1 more run to win by run rule. Here's a shot. This is going to get into short left field. Riggs is going to get the windmill. Riggs rails back, scores. It's a walk-off single for Lane Jorgensen. And Bosqueville moves on. Bosqueville clinches the game with a 33-25 win over the Belton Mudcats. Mudcats will move over to field number 3 as they will take on the Belton Pirates in an elimination game at 7 o'clock. But we will take a break. We'll have West and Normandy coming up at 7, followed by the Belton Guardians and Belton Brewers at 8:30. So once again, the final score, the Bosqueville Rangers 33 and the Belton Mudcats 25. We'll be back at 7 o'clock. Be sure and meet me back here from the Jace.